We went recording in progress. Okay, then. Reporting is in progress. This week was a great one for me because the title that they suggested, it's never a requirement, was Sing for Gratitude. And being a singer, right? It's a wonderful topic. Ernest Holmes in The Science of Mind said, appreciation, gratitude, and thanksgiving are the motive power which attracts and magnifies hidden potentialities in life. That's a mouthful, so I'm going to say it again.
Please.
Appreciation, gratitude, and thanksgiving are the motive power, that is the motivational power of the universe, right? That attracts and magnifies the hidden potentialities of life. So immediately I said, well, they all sound like the same thing, except I know there's connotative differences. So to you, what is the difference between appreciation and gratitude? That's a question.
I'd say the spoken word.
As in
what?
the spoken word, as in, I mean, the difference between appreciation and gratitude, you're saying is the spoken word?
Feelings, but I think if you're appreciating, they're all the same. I guess I'm feeling it, sensing it inside, or expressing it outwardly. But we tend to speak it out outwardly, showing appreciation in compliments or expressing yourself in some way through gifts or giving, or in various different forms.
Right. So appreciation then becomes a feeling, and then it's expressed in outward thank you, gratitude, gifts, and stuff. Okay, that's a good start. Anyone else having a difference between appreciation and gratitude? Quickly. I looked at the Merriam-Webster dictionary because I knew what I thought, but I thought I'm going to let this expand.
Yes.
Now, get this one. Appreciation, a feeling or expression of admiration, approval, or gratitude. As in, their example was, I want to express my appreciation for all you've done. Now, that to me is gratitude. I would prefer to say, I appreciate who you are even more than what you have done.
Love it.
Because appreciation is this feeling of approval, right? Yeah. It's the feeling of, they said, admiration, approval, or gratitude. So when we appreciate a beautiful a song, a beautiful instrumental piece, if we appreciate a beautiful artwork, we're not saying thank you, artwork. Right. We're admiring it. We have this feeling of positive regard. Yes. So that's the difference between appreciation and gratitude. Now, gratitude and thankfulness, this was really amazing.
I thought that when I think of gratitude, I think of it more of gratitude. I think of it in more of a divine form than appreciation. I think of appreciation as being like, the words and deeds and all that. But gratitude to me comes from the heart and maybe more awareness of spirit and all that. So gratitude to me is a stronger word than appreciate, if that makes sense.
The way you're using it, it would be. But this is, and it's interesting because there's a piece of what you're saying in what Merriam-Webster said to this. The minute I looked up gratitude on the same site, it said, what is the difference between thankful and gratitude? Now, you remember the three words that Ernest Holmes used was appreciation, gratitude, and thanksgiving. Right. So now the dictionary is automatically saying, what's the difference between gratitude and thanksgiving?
I love it.
Yeah. And I love this even more. Where thankfulness is an emotion, gratitude is an attitude of appreciation under any circumstance. Gratitude involves being thankful, but it is more than that. Gratitude means expressing thankfulness and being appreciative of life daily, even when exciting things aren't happening. That is a sermon topic.
Yes. yeah.
Right there, right? It's a sermon topic. In the Merriam-Webster Dictionary. So the more we focus on being grateful for anything and everything, the quicker wonderful things can present themselves to us. In A Course in Miracles, they always say the universe justifies our feelings. So if we're feeling appreciative and grateful, the universe will bring us more things to justify that feeling and make us feel even more appreciative and grateful. And if we're feeling angry or hurt or victimized, the universe will justify our feelings and bring us even more experiences to make us angry and hurtful and victimized. It's our choice. It's always our choice. From an essay by Alan Cohen. How many of you know who Alan Cohen is? He's a spiritual writer. He was very popular in the 80s and probably 90s. Anyway, he wrote some nice, really good books on the bookshelf in our library and others. He tells the story of a Zen Buddhist woman, teacher, named Sono, who taught a very simple method of enlightenment. This is true. Now, this is not a story, you know, like you always start off your ministerial things with stories. No, it's not like that. This is a true thing. Everyone that she encountered, she gave them exactly the same advice. And her affirmation was, thank you for everything. I have no complaints whatsoever. Yeah. Now, if you're like me, I've already had 2 complaints this afternoon, and I wrote this week. It's a North Star, you know, yes. It's like, this is what we want to be able to do 24/7, but it's not there to use to whip ourselves saying, see, I'm complaining again. Because then you're complaining about yourself, and that's missing the point all over again. So it's a beautiful affirmation and a beautiful statement and something to strive for. Thank you for everything. I have no complaints whatsoever. And he went on to say that many people came from all over the world to talk to her. People came for physical healing. They came for financial healing problems with that. They came for psychological and emotional stress. They came with everything. And she always said exactly the same thing. Repeat this mantra. Thank you for everything. I have no complaint whatsoever. Now, some people got angry and frustrated. You can imagine. I traveled all this way and all you're going to do is tell me that. And they'd go away frustrated. But then there were those that said, thank you, namaste, and went home and did it and did it and did it. And in every case, they healed. They became more prosperous. It works. It's a wonderful tool. Now, practicing non-resistance. Practicing non-resistance. Gratitude for what is. That's what we're looking for. Gratitude for what is. If it's something that we think is good, then it's easy to be grateful. It's easy to be appreciative of a beautiful sunset, right? But I hear people complain about the weather all the time when it's not a beautiful sunset. No complaints whatsoever, right? So if it's good, now, and the thing with the problem with the thing that, if it's good, we can easily be grateful for it, is that if it's something that's around us all the time, we don't think to be grateful for it. Green lights. Do any of us think about every time we come and got to go through a green light? Thank you, Father, I'm on my way.
When I was at Council, I do often.
Yes.
Like in Detroit, hit the green light once, you can go for 15 miles without stopping.
I'm sorry, I'm still not over the tickle. Getting a new line opening up in the grocery store. How about finding just the right present or the right accessory or the right tools. It requires being observant when the universe gives us a break and conspires in our favor. How about our bodies? Do we thank our feet for walking around on them? Or do we wait until we get bunions and blisters and anything else and say, oh, my feet hurt. Complain, complain, complain. It's much easier to say, rejoice, rejoice, rejoice when my feet aren't hurting and I'm walking around normally, right? So let's just be grateful on a daily basis for everything that's working. Practicing non-resistance. What if it's something we don't think is so good? Then we have to look for the blessing. And there's a story, it's a true story, not a true story. I like true stories. An 18th century scholar, that means he lived in the 1700s, right? I don't know.
Right.
The 18th century scholar, his name was Matthew somebody, was mugged, and the robbers took his purse and his valuables. He later wrote in his journal, and somehow it went through time, so we know about it. I am thankful that, number one, I have never had this experience of being mugged before. In other words, it wasn't a common occurrence for him. And I think back in the 1700s in the city, it was probably a common occurrence. So the fact that he had not been mugged before was a thing to be thankful for. Number two, I am thankful that I was not robbed of my life, only of my purse. Yeah, it could have been worse, right? Number three, I am thankful there wasn't much in my purse. And I had that experience once when Leo and I went to a concert and got home and the house had been burglarized and the front door was open and the back door was open for a quick escape. And they had taken my car because once they got in the house, of course, they got my purse and the car keys. They'd also taken a VCR, dual player that didn't work. A $5 bracelet, left the better jewelry on the floor because it was tarnished. I mean, I really like that $5 bracelet, but still, I could appreciate they only took, there wasn't that much in my purse. And I got the car back, of course. Thank you for everything. I have no complaints whatsoever. Now, the fourth thing he said is what's most meaningful to me. I am thankful that I was not the one doing the robbing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, to practice non-resistance, we have to be grateful for what we do not yet see. I bought a card about 12 years ago. It was while my husband was sick with cancer. It had an angel on it that looked a little bit like an Indian angel, but it was not one of those little cute little kids. It was really stylized and beautiful. And it said, give thanks for unknown blessings already on their way.
Yeah.
And it was a Native American saying, give thanks for unknown blessings already on their way. That's a wonderful affirmation because they're unknown. It's not saying, I thank you for this thing working out. It will if we have that attitude, and that's a good thing to affirm, but to say for unknown blessings, that's expectancy. And expectancy is one of the most powerful feelings that you can put out there for the universe to justify, right? Catherine Ponder, excuse me. I looked down and my eyes saw Carolyn. Catherine Ponder, if we wait until things happen before we praise and give thanks, we may wait indefinitely. Yes, ma'am. So we can develop an attitude of receptivity for, now remember, this is unknown blessings on their way. How about developing an attitude of receptivity for unexpected income?
Yes.
And then recognizing when we get it. Because we can get it, and if we think it doesn't come in the form we wanted, God, where's my money? And somebody bought your dinner, right? So we can develop an attitude of receptivity for unseen opportunities, all kinds of opportunities. What are the infinite possibilities out there available to us now? We develop a receptivity for that, and we notice when they come, and we give thanks ahead and in the moment. We can develop an attitude of receptivity for spontaneous, beautiful moments. Think of that. I'm sure that every one of us has had some unexpected moment of utter beauty or humor. The universe can be very humorous sometimes and make us laugh. I remember I was taking a walk around the park near my house, and it was late afternoon. The sun was very low on the horizon, and there were some children playing ball or catch or something. And this young girl, about 10, 11, was running around, and she had that long flaxen hair. But because the sun was low on the horizon, everywhere her hair went, the sun shone right through it, like corn silk. And I was mesmerized. That's the kind of thing I'm saying, that unexpected moments of beauty. And you can make up your own list on that, right? Michael Beckwith says, you are to walk with a dynamic of high praise and appreciation, so that everywhere you look, you are praising and appreciating the essence of God. So even when it's not evident, your consciousness is calling forth that which is invisible in that particular moment, but is becoming more visible because you are looking for it.
Yes.
They always say you can find the devil behind any bush. Well, if we're looking for God, we find him everywhere.
Yeah.
And he's not necessarily behind a bush, right? So we have to be one continuous, yay, God, right? In every experience of life. So let's take a moment then to think about, if you were to look at yourself as though you were someone else, what qualities would you be grateful for in you?
Just like if I was Tom Hanks or.
No, if you stood outside your body and looked at you
Gotcha.
and said, what would I appreciate in this person called Jeff? In this person called Chris, in this person called Diane, whoever, right? What would I appreciate if I weren't so busy criticizing myself for everything I'm lacking as a person?
Yeah.
Going back to Alan Cohen, his essay, can you imagine what your life would be like if you simply dropped all your complaints? It's a radical proposal, since most of us have been trained to question, to analyze, and to criticize almost everything. But these end up questioning, analyzing, and criticizing ourselves. And then we miss our joy, which is the true measure of success. In my book, he's talking about Handle with Prayer. I stated that the highest form of prayer is gratitude. Instead of asking God for stuff, start thanking God for stuff, and you will find that God is already giving you everything that you need, including the adventure of discovering more riches every day. Life is a huge treasure hunt. Eventually, though, we grow weary of seeking things outside of ourselves, and we begin to look within. And that's when we discover the gold that we sought is already there. The beauty was overlooked because we were focusing on what was missing. Still, lives await in us, waiting for us like a lover. So all the good in us is still there. It's waiting for us to look inside and appreciate it. So we don't just appreciate gorgeous sunsets, and we don't just appreciate that we weren't the robber, and we don't just appreciate the unknown things that are on their way to us. We appreciate ourselves. And then we'll appreciate everything else. So whether we're looking outside in the world or the inside of our own personality and being, we must practice the art of appreciation. Thank you for everything. I have no complaints whatsoever. Thank you.
So it is.